And it's possible to do a lot of study in addition to practicing. Studying the music without the instrument.
所以你除了练习以外，你也要就是很认真的读谱，研读你的音乐，而不是只是练习而已。
Several things you can do, for instance, if you have a very difficult technical passage for your fingers, practice just singing and fingering the passage.
那譬如说，像你的手指有问题的话，你可以只是唱，然后做手指的练习，但是所以你不一定要跟着乐器，你可以唱，然后手指练习。
Don't waste your lip power teaching your fingers how to play.
好说不要浪费你嘴巴的力量，当你然后去教你的手指头怎么练习，还是分开来的。
And so there's a lot of wonderful ideas that I won't read to you here. You can read it yourself.
老师说不会一项一项的念，但是你们要自己看过一次。
That gives you some ideas on practicing. There's bass trombonist, retired now from the Los Angeles Philharmonic, Jeff Reynolds. There are 2 handouts from him on how to practice. He was very much into preparing well. Go ahead.
这是一个长号老师，是 Chicago。
No, Los Angeles.
洛杉矶交响乐团的那个 bass trombone。
Yes.
OK， 低音长号的那个老师他已经退休了，然后这是他写的那个练习的指导方式。
And there was a wonderful tubist in this last century who passed away 4 years ago by the name of Harvey Phillips. Does anyone not know who Harvey Phillips is?
有人不知道 Harvey Phillips 是谁吗？
Everybody knows Harvey Phillips? If you know about the name, raise your hand.
知道的举手。
Harvey Phillips was a very important tubist in the last century. He started very young, playing in the circus bands in the United States.
Phillips 先生呢，他是上个世纪其中一个很重要的 tuba 演奏家，也是一个教育家。那他开始早期的时候，他是在美国所谓的就是马戏团乐团里面演奏。
He was a student of one of the fathers of American tuba playing, Bill Bell.
他是其中一个美国就是 tuba 之父，他叫做 Bill Bell。
And he studied in New York City at the Juilliard School of Music.
他在那个茱莉亚学院学习。
And was one of the founders of many musical activities in New York City, freelance tubist.
然后他有建立了很多在纽约这个地方，就是建立了很多音乐的活动啊，教育的。
He was a member and founder of the first professional quintet, brass quintet in the United States, the New York Brass Quintet.
他是美国第一个成立的铜管的重奏。
He also taught in many places and performed all over. And later he was a great teacher. He was a professor at Indiana University before Dan Parentoni.
那Harvey Phillips 先生呢，他是就是他有做很多事情，他譬如就是说他是在 Mr. 那个 Parentoni 之前的在印第安纳教的老师。
And he was the man responsible for all of the brass associations, especially the Tuba ITEA Association.
他之前也是他是全部铜管的那种，就是协会的，就是主办或是那个联络的人。那他也是之前 ITEA 的很重要的核心人物。
He was a wonderful performer and player and teacher, most important in the history of the United States and of the tuba world, tuba euphonium world.
那老师说，他这是美国史上非常重要的低音号跟上低音号的，就是。
So you should know about him. Google him, okay? Google Harvey Phillips and learn all about him. On the page here it says Phillips P's for brass playing. Everything that begins with a P for Phillips.
所以这个讲义上面写说，就是这个老师的姓，然后 P's for，就是他全部的那个都是开始练习，就是开始 P 这个字。
Makes a very interesting reading.
让那个阅读变得很有趣。
Then on the next page we have practice fix-it practice the physical skills of playing, but also the musical skills of interpretation.
那你练习有两件事情，就是除了技巧上的、音乐上的技巧，也要就是处理这样。
So spend a lot of time listening to great performances of music.
所以听音乐，听就是很棒的音乐家演奏，也是非常重要的事情。
One of the techniques I think is one of the best for practicing is making sure that you always play in rhythm or in time.
老师说，他觉得可以让练习还有演奏变得非常好的一件事情，最重要的事情是你的节奏一定要非常的准确。
When I get a new piece, I look at it and I try and look at it before I practice it with the instrument. And I try and think of the time, I look at the passages, the key signatures, everything that is involved in playing that piece.
老师说，他拿到一个新的乐谱的时候，他开始吹之前，他一定会看过全部的曲子一次，然后想着他的速度是什么，然后看一下里面的节奏，然后还有就是调性。
Just the time and the key signatures, everything
就
that's
是
on
其
the
他就是这样谱号啊，然后就是任何的派号的。
And then practice it so slowly that you are in time, but you make no mistake. And so, right perfect time, slow motion.
老师说要用很慢的方法，就是练习，然后很慢的速度，可是没有错音，然后节拍还有就是你的速度都是准确的，没有失误的。
And then gradually increase the speed, but never making a mistake.
然后慢慢的加快，但是绝对不能就是犯错。
And maybe after playing it 20 times, you can play up to tempo, but you've never practiced a mistake.
那老师在测20次之后，你可能就开始可以到达那个谱上标的速度。可是比较深可能，如果你从很慢练习的话，你就会可能会没有失误，但是不能有失误。
That's better than playing it up to tempo every time and making mistakes every time and trying over and over again. Finally, 20 times, you make it one time without a mistake, but you practice 19 times with a mistake. So your chances of making a mistake are much more.
那老师说，就是这个练习方法会比你吹了20次，就是谱上写的速度，可是你大概只有1次是全部没有错音，可是19次全部都有读错音，然后是错的练习，那比较没有效，就是非常的没有效率。
So, are there any questions about practicing your daily routine that you have?
有没有任何问题关于每天练习的行程啊，或是就是时间安排啊，或是任何的问题？
I didn't see any hands, probably. You have a lot to read and translate here. I remember the importance of rhythm in practicing is very, very important.
老师又强调一次，节奏真的非常非常非常的重要。
When I was in university, my freshman year, I was playing a solo with the band.
老师说他大一的时候，在大学的时候跟他们学校管乐团吹了一首就是协奏曲，老师吹手，然后乐团伴奏。
And we got to one section that was very fast. He stopped and he said to me, "Have you practiced this slowly?"
他们指挥就是在吹到某个地方的时候，就停止他说：“你有没有把这个东西慢练？”
I said yes, but he said, "We'll see."
他老师说有，但是他们只会说我们再看看。
And he took his baton. And he said, "This is your 16th note. Play."
那这速度就是他就说好，他们只会开始打这个速度，然后就说这是你的16分音符。
And so I played it. Da, da. Oops, second note was out of rhythm.
第二个音是没有准确。
So this passage, I went into the practice room and set the metronome at 60 for every 16th note. Da, da, dee, da, dee, da, dee, da, dee, da, dee, da, dee, dee, da, until I could match every note perfectly in rhythm.
老师 坐在琴房里面，他就用16分音符60的速度，每一个音一直吹，吹到就是每个音他都知道它完全的跟节拍器完美的合在一起。
And then up one click on the metronome.
然后往上加
And one more click.
然后
And one more click. It took me 5 hours to practice these 8 majors.
老师说那个8个小时，他练了5个小时。
To get to the top of the metronome.
然后
But to the top speed. But I learned many things from doing this. Number one, I could hear the exactness of the rhythm, evenness of the rhythm.
OK， 那老师说要学到5件事情。第一件事情就是从这么慢的练习当中，但是这么准确的练习当中，老师听到了何谓的就是节奏的准确性。
And I could hear also the intonation of how the notes related to each other in the tonality.
然后老师也听到所谓的音准，那音准不是说多准，可是就是音跟音之间的音程的关系，老师都可以听得很清楚。
And the relationship of the notes.
还有音跟音之间的关系。
And so it really helped to really know that piece.
所以他就真的就是对那首曲子他是非常非常的了解。老师现在要示范给你们看。
So I played it very slowly at first.
很慢的开始。
Every note in perfect rhythm and listening to the tone ball. And that passage is very fast, but you practice it very slowly listening to all those things. Because in performance tempo, that's how fast you're supposed to play it. Okay? So you play it. And then in performance, you can hear every note. I've played that solo for some time, but I can still, from all that time practicing, really prepared, I remember it. But I remember it, when I hear it that fast, I'm still thinking of. No matter how fast you play it, you're still thinking of that melody. And so that is the secret to fast playing, is practicing slowly and exactly in rhythm. Rhythm, rhythm, rhythm is very important.
所以老师的重点，你们刚刚听到老师示范了嘛？所以他重点就是你要达到这么快的速度的时候，就是你的技巧上，你首先要就是慢的练习。可是慢的练习的时候，你不能忽略你的音准、你的音色，还有旋律，还有老师说最重要的是节奏。你就吹很慢，你的节奏还是要完全完美的，是对的。
Developing your skill in the fundamentals of playing is very important also.
所以在吹的，就是你建立你的能力的时候，你基础还是非常重要的。
I advise you to learn all of your scales,
老师想要
major and minor scales.
老师就是要你们学全部的大小调的音阶。
For the euphonium players, in your packet there's a scale routine. Maybe everybody has it, I don't know. Where you play all major and minor scales around the circle of fourths and fifths.
所以那个 euphonium 的那个一本里面有 3张是那个全部大小调的练习，然后里面那个关系就是4度，那个循环4度5度的关系，所以全部24小调在里面。
So you can practice them in sequence and learn to play in all the keys very comfortably.
所以就是你要就是全部都要学，然后就是一连串的，你就要把它学完，然后你要就是最后你要当你吹它的时候，要变得非常的就是要感觉非常的舒服。
And the relationship of key and tonality.
那就是还有就是调跟调中的关系，还有那个
That's all right. And so, using the scale routine, you learn to play all the scales in sequence. The sounds around the circle of fourths and fifths. Sounds sort of like this. And so on and so forth until you played every scale and 2 forms of the minor, harmonic and melodic. It's a good practice, and then you can get them as fast as you can and see if you can really get around the instrument playing in the different tonalities. So that's just another idea for practice of skills that you could develop.
所以就是音阶也是一个很重要的一件事情，就是如果这个练习呢，你练习你当然要注意它的调性，然后就是你如果可以吹越快越好，这样。
So plan your time. Plan your time. Many times you have a day that is very busy, as all of you have other things that you do besides practice. But I like to plan my day so I can practice first. Otherwise, by the end of the day, something has happened and I'll put the practice aside and I haven't practiced at the end of the day and I feel very grumpy because I didn't have the chance to practice. But if you practice, then you feel good at the end of the day. So plan your practicing first.
老师说他喜欢就是每天他都先规划他的每一天，他喜欢把练习，他说当然知道大家都很忙很多事情，可是他会先就是把练习这件事情当做他每天最主要要做的事情，因为呢，如果你没有这样做的话，你到了就是晚上的时候，你已经很累很累很累，你可能就不练习，或是练习的品质可能不会很好。那
Practice first rather than second, so you can feel good about yourself. Øystein Bodvik, a very famous Norwegian tubist, professional tuba player, took 2 years of practicing before he began his solo playing. 2 years, and every day, 8 o'clock in the morning, he would start to practice. And he'd practice for an hour, study for an hour, practice for an hour, study for an hour, all day long. All day long. It was his job, like going to work. From 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, practice. Practice with the instrument, without the instrument. Every day, for 2 years, to prepare for his solo career. We don't all have that kind of time. My ideal practice would be 7 times a day for 40 minutes each time, with rest in between. But you can plan a little bit of time, maybe a warm-up time for 20 minutes to a half hour, then maybe another time where you could work on some etudes, another time some solos, other things. Plan your time. You have to sacrifice sometimes other things that are good things, but this is better. So you have to think of what is good, what is better, what is best for my time.
我刚刚讲到 Øystein 这个 tuba 大家都熟悉的，那他成为就是独奏家的前2年，他每天从8点早上开始上班就开始练习，他练1个小时，然后读谱1个小时，练习1个小时读谱，就是这样循环，然后每天在他就是成为一个真的很厉害的独奏家之前。那我就说，当然我们没有那样的时间，因为大家都是学生要上班什么的。那就是老师觉得最理想的练习时间就是一次45分钟， 每个练习人就是段落是15分钟。那你可以练习45分钟，每天练7次。那中间你可以做自己该做的事情，这样子。然后还有就是老师说，你规划说那45分钟内可以练20分钟的热腿啊，然后25分钟你可以做，可能你可以练，就练自己的东西这样子。然后
Figure out what's good and better best.
哦 ，OK。所以老师说，当然啊，你要做的事情，你想做的事情都很好。可是老师说，你要把自己变得，你会觉得练习是一件比那个更好的事情。所以你的人生就是总要排说什么是最好的，然后什么是比较好的，然后什么是只是还好。所以还是要自己去把它规划出来。
Appreciate you being here. One last caution. Be careful of practicing too much when it's not good and your lips hurt or something. If your lips hurt or anything hurts, stop. Don't play. Rest. Because rest is as important sometimes as practice to let the muscles rebuild.
老师说最后一件就是你们要小心的事情，就是不要练太多。老师说，如果你觉得你嘴巴就是你有觉得任何疼痛感的时候，停止练习，不要再练了。老师说练习呢也是一件非常停止练习休息也是对你练习有帮助的，因为你的肌肉必须要重新建立。
Thank you very much for your time here today. I look forward to having great practice sessions. Okay, thank you. 那现在就可以到你该去的上课地点。